Now, imagine if King Charles went on the telly and announced out of the blue that he was stepping down as monarch. Well, that's exactly the bombshell that Denmark's Queen Margrethe II dropped on the Danish people on Sunday evening. The 83-year-old is the longest-serving sovereign in Europe, but will formally abdicate the throne, make way for her son Frederick on January the 14th. But would such a bold and monumental decision ever be replicated again on these shores? After all, recent YouGov polling has Prince and Princess of Wales sporting a healthy 69 and 71% popularity rating amongst the British public. King Charles and Queen Camilla, they're languishing behind somewhat on 52 and 41% respectively. So, should King Charles abdicate and make way for William and Kate? To debate this, I'm joined by former royal correspondent at The Sun, Charlie Ray, and former Labour MP, Stephen Pound. Brilliant stuff, chaps. Who to start with? I normally go ladies first, but I can't really do that tonight. Charlie, I'll go with you. Should Charles abdicate?
Of course not. Of course not. He should not abdicate. I mean, when he became king, like his late mother, he took an oath and a pledge that he would be monarch, devote his life to the monarchy for the rest of his life. And that's the way it's going to stay. We've always got people always wanting people, want William and Catherine to take over because they're young, they're cool, everybody loves them. You've just read out the polls, fantastic. But they will have to wait their turn. I know it's going to be some time. I mean, if Charles lasts as long as his mother, he's got at least another 20 years, and I don't see any reason why he should abdicate and sit at home with his pipe and slippers. All right, Stephen, your views on whether or not Charles should abdicate?
I think it would be a wonderful thing if he did do it. I think it would save the monarchy. Now, I must admit, I'm slightly cheered by Charlie because I'm the same age as Prince Charles. He and I, the King and I, have that in common. And I'd like to think that I've got another 20 years on this earth, pottering down the allotment, going down to Fulham, but I somehow doubt it. Look, the monarchy is in a state of crisis at the present time. We've had probably the worst few years since Her Majesty, the late Her Majesty, passed on. I think, would it be a wonderful thing if King Charles actually said, look, I think it's time for a reset. I think it's time for me to step back. I've done my best. I've been a faithful and loyal servant. I've been a filled-in for my mother. But now let's step back and let's let a new generation take over. Let's give the monarchy an injection of hope for the future. Let's give them a completely new... Let's give them a restart. Let's kickstart the monarchy for the 21st century. I don't think, Patrick, that we should actually elect the King and Queen on the basis of popularity polls.
Well, no, because we'd end up with Tony Blair, wouldn't we? But yes.
Well, so it's not all bad.
Stop it, you. Charles, look, respond to that, I suppose, that if we did have Wills and Kate, then, we'd get guaranteed decades with them, really. The younger, fresher face, and maybe we'd end up feeling somewhat like we did about our late Queen at some point.
Yes, that's true, Patrick. But as I say, they'll have to wait their turn. And I mean, just on the point of popularity, let's not forget that the King's Speech was the most viewed programme on Christmas Day, and the programme, the documentary, The Coronation, about the background to the coronation, was the most viewed programme on Boxing Night. So their popularity is still quite healthy. And I disagree with Stephen. I don't think the monarchy is in crisis. Crisis suggests that there could be a fall of the monarchy in the very near future, and I do not believe that will happen. I think the monarchy is just going along just nicely, and it should stay as it is.
I'm inclined to agree, genuinely. And Stephen, I wonder, there's no substitute for the decades of accumulated experience and wisdom that King Charles now has. You just can't teach that. And actually, he surely is best placed now to be our king. And we do things better than our continental brothers and sisters, don't we? We actually stick it out to the end. We don't throw the towel in.
Well, I'm not entirely sure we want to end up with sort of, Joe Biden in a crown, or it's a terrifying thought. But look, the reality is that Charlie, he knows more about this subject. He spent more hot dinners at Buckingham Palace, and I've probably had hot dinners. But the reality is that the monarchy may not be in meltdown, but it certainly is in a state where now people are just no longer as respectful of the monarchies, and we all know the scandals that have beset the monarchy, and we know what the situation is. I think it would be absolutely wonderful if King Charles actually said, for the sake of the monarchy, for the sake of the country, never mind my own personal ambition, my experience and my age and my wisdom and all those things that people of his age and my age have, just to say, look, I'm going to step back, I'm going to let someone else have a go, and I'm going to, not because it's hard, not because it's impossible, but because we need a fresh start for the monarchy.
Very quickly, Charlie, very quickly.
You just look at the scores on the doors. We've only had one abdication in this country, and that was in 1936, and it's not going to
We've
happen
had one
again.
execution in 1649.
Well, whoa. All right. Well, there we go. And yeah, exactly. And nobody here is old enough to remember either of those things, I'm sure. But anyway, that was former royal correspondent at The Sun, Charlie Ray, and former Labour MP Stephen Powell. Thank you very, very much.